how they disappear. I wish I had a time machine, I'd go back 20 years. I've been songwriting, I guess, for, I don't know, about 15 years or so. And it's something that you hope that as you kind of go along, you keep getting better at. And I hope some of the songs tonight speak to you, and I hope that you enjoy them. This first song I want to do, I always think it's very interesting kind of how songs are born. And this first song was really, my brothers and I, we were in Memphis, and we were down on Beale Street. I have two younger brothers. We were down on Beale Street, and we were walking past a fortune teller, and she was sitting at her table, and I told my youngest brother, I said, sit down there, and so I gave her $20, and he sat down, and she started to look at his hand and read his fortune, and she told him all these great things about himself. And at the time, he was dating this one girl, and he asked her, he said, you know, what about this girl? Is she the one for me? And I'll never forget that the fortune teller looked at him. She said, everything will be all right. So he married her, and about a year later, she up and left. So I still feel like my $20 investment was still pretty good. The title of this song is Everything Will Be All Right. I woke up this morning feeling depressed. I ate a bowl of cornflakes and I got dressed. And on my way to work by the side of the road, a sign said, come on in and get your fortune told. She took one look at my hand. She said, I see life ain't working like you planned, but you're the man, everything will be alright. She said everything will be alright. You seem to be a little nervous to me, but your future sure looks bright. And hey, everything will be alright. So I picked up my cell phone, I called in sick. My boss started giving me static, so I just quit. I said I'm sick and tired of working for someone else, and it's about time I started living for myself. So I called my wife and told her what I did. She said, you better sit down, we're gonna have a set up. Twin girls, everything will be alright. She said everything will be alright. You seem to be a little nervous to me, but our future sure looks bright. And hey, everything will be alright. So I called up my dad for a little advice. He said, son, you know I'd love to help you, but this is your life. You see, me and your mama, we got trouble all our own. Your mama's staying out all night and she don't want to come home. You see, my mama, she's a daisy. Good one, he just got lazy. It's crazy, and everything will be alright. I said, hey Dad, everything will be alright. You seem to be a little nervous to me, but your future sure looks bright. Hey, everything will be alright. Well, I've got a few more. I may have to, if I go short, I may have to sing them all twice. I don't know. I was sitting at the swimming pool out at Rolling Hills. I was sitting next to this guy, and his name was John. And I didn't really know John. I'd seen John. He was, seen him around the club, but I really didn't know who he was. About the time I was sitting there, a lady from the pool yells over to him and says, "John," she says, "John, we've been missing you at church." So I don't know what John did, but it must have been pretty good. She said, "John, we've been missing you, and we are praying for you. Oh, John, we're praying for you." She said, "You are on our prayer list, and we are praying for you." He said, "You mean I am on the prayer list again?" And I said, "Well, that's just too easy. Because friendship is a blessing, but it has its ups and downs. Because everybody knows your business in a sleepy little town like Paducah, Kentucky. And if you've ever wondered about your communal worth, well, my friend, just check the latest copy of the prayer list at church. Prayer list, my friend, prayer list, my friend. All the folks at the Baptist church think I backslid again. Yet it's comforting to know they're all worried about my soul. I must be up to my neck in sin. I'm on the prayer list again. Miss Mabel baked me a cobbler, Sister Ruby a pecan pie. Brother Joe brought me some chicken, I'm quite sure the Colonel fried. The preacher stopped by to mow my yard, all this just for my sake. I never thought being a sinner could ever be so great. Prayer list, my friend, prayer list, my friend. All the folks at the Baptist church think I backslid again. Yet it's comforting to know they're all worried about my soul. I must be up to my neck in sin. I'm on the prayer list again. Now, I've done things I'm not proud of. I've done things that ain't right. I said no to Jesus until I saw the light. Well, thank God for the prayer list made by God's unseen hand. Pray for me and I'll pray for you. We'll meet in glory land. Prayer list, my friend, prayer list, my friend. Jesus came to save my soul, wash away my sin. Yet it's comforting to know heaven's where I'm bound to go. I once was up to my neck in sin, on the prayer list again. Yes, I was up to my neck in sin, on the prayer list again. No longer up to my neck in sin, take me off the prayer list, my friend, the prayer list again. But you know, I might misbehave again. So leave me on the prayer list, my friend, the prayer list again. My son just turned 11 years old, and my wife said, you really need to have the talk with him. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, no, you need to. I said, well, my dad never had the talk with me, and, look how I turned out. And she said, yeah, that's exactly why you need to have the talk with him. So actually having the talk with your son is, as a songwriter, not nearly as fun as writing about it. So my son, I think it's time we had the talk, and I'm a few years late. And part of that is all my fault. Now this won't be about the birds and the bees or how the Milky Way wound up here. I want to take the time to summarize things I've learned through the years. Things like cheap beer tastes better when you drink it with old friends. And don't date girls from Hollywood, 'cause they like to pretend. The bridges that you burn are hard to build again. And if they say you're gonna lose, find a way to win. Women are creatures of mystery and grace. Lies hurt when they're told right to your face. Now there'll be days when you think you're going crazy with no way out of a mess you're in. But be sure to thank God for every day, night, every now and then. You'll find cheap beer tastes better when you drink it with old friends. A heartache hurts a whole lot more than a kick in your rear end. And if you hold three of a kind, take a chance and go all in. And if they say you're gonna lose, find a way to win. Now there's no price for the free advice that my dad gave to me. Be strong and kind and work hard each day and never give up on your dreams. You'll find cheap beer tastes better when you drink it with old friends. And take the time to keep your word, ask forgiveness for your sins. The richest man in the world is the man with the most friends. If they say you're gonna lose, find a way. Find a way to win. You find a way to win. My son, I'm glad we finally had the talk. My wife bought me a telescope one Christmas. And so I set it up in the backyard and was excited about using it and set it up and started looking at the stars and the sky and all that type jazz. And really the only thing I could find was a full moon. And if you know anything about astronomy, that's really not too tough to do with a telescope. But I had my middle daughter out with me, and I lifted her up, and she got to look through the telescope and see the moon. And she just turned to me, and she just had this amazing look on her face of just, she was just so captivated by it. And I wanted to try to keep that moment in my mind, really forever. And so I wrote this song. It's called She'll Always Be For. One night on the front steps, staring at the sky, she says, "Daddy, are those candles, or are they fireflies? Eyes of blue, hair of gold, a smile innocent and warm. I was 33 years old, she was only 4. And just a few years later, there's a young man at the door. She says, Daddy, I'm not ready. I need a few minutes more. I can't believe she's not a little girl anymore. I should still be 33. She'd only be 4. Now where have all of my days gone? Have they disappeared? I wish I had a time machine. I'd go back 20 years. And if life's just a dream, let me sleep forevermore. I'd only be 33. She'd always be 4. She'd always be 4. As we stand here together, about to walk down the aisle, she says, Daddy, I'm so happy, crying as she smiles. It seems like only yesterday that she was born, but to me I still feel 33, and she'll always be 4. Now where have all of my days gone? How they disappeared? I wish I had a time machine. I'd go back 20 years. And if life's just a dream, let me sleep forevermore. I'd only be 33. She'd always be 4. But now that she's grown, she's got a little girl all her own. Her eyes are blue, her hair's pure as gold. She's amazed how life has changed and time just slips away. She says, Daddy, did you ever feel this way? Where have all my days gone? Have they disappeared? I wish I had a time machine. I'd go back 20 years. If life's just a dream, let me sleep forevermore. And you'd still be 33, and I'd always be 4. I wrote a drinking song. And it's that's what it's called. It's called One Day I Gotta Stop. Because if you've ever really, been out and started too early and quit too late, sometimes on Saturday night, like 2 in the morning, you pray that prayer. You're like, God, if you'll just let me live, I'll never do this again. And then, of course, you live, and then the next Saturday night, you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. But that's the title of this song. One day I gotta stop drinking. I woke up face down on the floor. My pants were down around my knees. Someone put an air on my behind, to which they duct taped my truck keys. I don't know how things got this bad, so I prayed to God and asked Him why. My life story must be sad, 'cause my therapist even cried. And oh my ex-wife swears I'm gonna die. And ooh-wee, well, she's what's killing me. And no more chasing senoritas with upside-down margaritas. 'Cause last night I finally started thinking, one day I gotta stop a drinking. I'm just a typical regular guy. Ooh-wee, I like Hooters and their hot wings. My doctor says I don't have long. My life's a bad country song. Last night I finally started thinking, one day I gotta stop a drinking. 12 steps away from sober thinking, one day I gotta stop a drinking. Bang, bang, choo-choo train. Come on, baby, shake that thing. Shake it to the left, shake it to the right. Dance all day, party all night. Ah, Lord have mercy. My wife was getting ready for work one morning, and my 3-year-old came in to where she was getting ready, and she said, "Mommy, I need to tell you." She said, "I need to tell you something." She said, "Okay." And so my wife was just kind of in and out, listening to her, getting ready, and you know how you can kind of do that with younger kids. And she said, "I need to tell you about a dream." And so she said, "Okay, go ahead." And she said, "Well, I had a dream last night about God." And she said, "Okay, well, tell me about it." She said, "You know, is God a man?" And she said, "Oh, yes, Mommy, God is a man." And she said, well, what did you all do?" And she said, "Well, we just jumped from cloud to cloud." And she said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "God held me in his arms, and we just flew from cloud to cloud." She said, "You flew?" She said, "Yes, Mommy." She said, "God has wings." And so she went ahead and she said, "Oh, and by the way, Mommy," she said, "God said to be happy." And it was right at that time that my wife stopped what she was doing, and she looked at her and she said, "God told you to be happy?" And she said, "Oh, no, Mommy." She said, "God told me to tell you to be happy." And at that moment, it was very profound, because that was at a time in our life when my wife was really struggling with what to do about her work. Should she continue to work or quit work and be at home with the kids? And it was just really a difficult time and a difficult decision to make. And so when she told me the story, I was sitting in the parking lot of the Piggly Wiggly, getting ready to go in and get a hot plate lunch, and this song just came to me. So I wrote it in the parking lot of the Piggly Wiggly. And it's about a father who hasn't always been faithful to God, but who has been very richly blessed. The title of the song is "God Told Me." My 3-year-old climbed into my bed this morning at 6 o'clock. She said, last night I had a dream. Me and God, we had a talk. God said, you should be happy. He reached out his hands. And I said, that's sweet, now go back to sleep. She said, but you don't understand. God told me to tell you, be happy every day in everything you do. And He knows you're hurting. He misses you. Daddy, that's what God told me to tell you. So I sit straight up in the bed, and tears fill my eyes. Life has been so hard for me. I finally realized that it'd been years since I prayed. I turned my back on faith, but all the walls began to fall once I heard my daughter say, God told me to tell you, be happy every day in everything you do. And He knows you're hurting. He misses you, Daddy, and that's what God told me to tell you. There was a time I didn't want to live. My hope was gone and I had nothing left to give. But then I got the greatest gift ever given me. Because of the love of my little girl, now I see how God told me to tell you, be happy every day in everything you do. And He knows when you're hurting, and He loves you. That's what God told me to tell you. Can you hear God speaking to you? You all have been wonderful. Thank you all so very much.